or who it's going to be. But if Saka remains with Arsenal and Arteta remains there and they continue to develop, Saka could be very scary. Because, when I said, okay, we're now entering into the new era of, Mbappe, Haaland, Musiala, and I threw in Saka in there. And when I threw in Saka, I was like, okay, should Saka really be in this kind of conversation as the next thing? But I was like, why not? Arsenal, Saka was really good last season. He was also really good this season. He's improved. And you're now seeing a continuous projection of him improving. And he has been one of Arsenal's best players. Maybe the only thing that you may say that may hold him back is, okay, Champions League. Yes, he may do it in the Premier League. Yes, he may do it in the Europa League, but the Champions League is another level. So that's why that's the next. Because next season, whether Arsenal win it or not, they're going to be in the Champions League. So I think the next test right now is, can you now do it in the Champions League against a Real Madrid, against a Juventus, an Inter Milan, against pretty much the best of the best of the best, and against the best tacticians. Because what was so impressive from Musiala was his performances in the Champions League at such a young age. I think it was the game against Bozo FC from Italy where I was like, oh, look at what this guy is doing in the Champions League at his freaking age. As insane. And also, let's just be real and so forth. I think Arsenal fans will admit, getting into a Bayern Munich first team side is different from getting into an Arsenal first team side, because Bayern Munich are one of the biggest, most successful clubs of all time. So the fact that a guy like Musiala was so young and able to get in there, I was like, okay, wow, this is crazy. So it's an interesting comparison between both of these guys. It's interesting, and for me, it's as if, like, for me, Musiala is already a guy where, like, he's already that dude and he's already arrived. So it's more so a case of, like, okay, what can he do? Because it just feels like if Musiala keeps on going, he's going to be on Ballon d'Or platform. Like, in 5 years' time, Musiala is going to be on a Ballon d'Or platform. For Saka, I'm like, okay. See, Musiala, I'm already, as long as he doesn't get a crazy injury and doesn't necessarily leave Bayern for, like, let's say, like a PSG, you pretty much know that, okay, this guy is here to freaking stay. With Saka, I'm like, okay, it's interesting. I'm not as sure that Saka is going to be like what Musiala is, because Musiala, everyone who has a football brain knows that, okay, yeah, this is that guy. But with Saka, I'm like, no, this guy's improvement has to be earmarked. So this is what I want to see from Saka. Because I've already said enough for me to be like, no, Saka needs to be put in the conversation as the next tier generation. So Saka, Musiala, this Florian Wirtz individual, maybe you throw in Endrick. Okay, these are the next crew. Vini as well. For Saka is, let's see how the season ends. Let's see now what he now does next season. And let's see now what he does in the Champions League. And let's see what he now does at the Euros. Because remember, that's Euros, his first ever thing for England. At the World Cup, so he got better. You saw him score. I think he was one of England's top goal scorers, and he shouldn't have been brought off in that France game. Because if he was left on in that France game, who knows how that could have turned. So watch the rest of this vid and gain access to more content crack. Think about becoming a Patreon member. Click the link below in the description box, or head over to patreon.com/halfhope and gain access to more content crack. Let's ride.